diagnosed autistic, inspired by the Twitter thread talking about things autistic people wish they had known when they were first discovered they were autistic. And so I did a video, my first video, things I wish I would have known, was about sensory differences and how much of an impact sensory processing had on my life. And I will link that video somewhere, maybe, floating box here. So I've never done that before. We'll see how it works. And so I did that video, and people had a pretty good response to it. So I thought I would continue in this series. And so something I wish I knew, but it only has come through kind of rediscovering myself since being diagnosed, is how important movement and just stimming is to my life. And so, if you don't know what stimming is, autistic people, many of us are very stimmy people, and for me, that can be, it's just my natural ebb and flow of energy. It just regulates through movement, if that makes sense. So, I talk with my hands. When I'm excited, my hands do all kinds of wild things. It's just automatic. It's not even something I can control. It's just how my body regulates my energy. Rocking back and forth is another one that I do very regularly. I'm always in motion. Or, if I'm not in motion, sometimes and I will hold on to myself and put pressure on myself. I clasp my hands a lot. Some things that are a little bit more destructive is, if I'm trying to be really still and I'm trying really hard to focus, it's hard for me to do that while I'm being still. So then, I might turn to something that's more destructive, like chewing and biting the inside of my mouth until it bleeds, and the inside of and clenching my jaws really tightly until everything hurts. Those are things I do when I'm trying to restrain myself from my natural body movements that my body wants to do. It becomes very destructive, because it's subconsciously, when I stop the movements, my body starts doing something to compensate, and I don't even know always what's happening until I start to feel discomfort. So, movement is very essential to me. And so, stimming can often be all of these subconscious movements that I'm not even aware of and that are automatic and instant, like rocking and flapping and, bouncing and walking on my toes and just, jumping up and down, all those things that are, almost instantaneous expressions of energy. But there can also be, stimming that is much more intentional. It's intentionally stimming, because I know that stimulating my senses helps me to regulate myself. An example of that is I know I need to regulate my energy, and my body regulates automatically through stimming, but I can do other things, to stimulate myself and wear myself out. And so, for me, one that what people wouldn't think of, I think, and let me know if you think this counts, because maybe you don't think it counts, but for me, I think it counts. It would be yoga, doing the same exact sequences over and over again, the same few poses that I had memorized, and sometimes I do freestyle, but it's when I'm doing just one little sequence, and I'm doing the same sequence over and over again. And I'm completely lost in it, and the outside world is gone and doesn't exist anymore. I am just only in my body and all the sensations in my body, and the rest of the world disappears. And so I feel like that's stimming, but that's a different kind of stimming, because it's a forced stimming that's really, really intentional and very good for me. So, just the importance, I guess, that to sum that up, what I would want to pass on to my newly diagnosed self would just be the importance of movement and letting my body move and actively seeking out movement, going for walks, going for swims, going and just doing, moving around, and just how important that is for me to just move and not be still. So that's those are my thoughts. That's the second thing